feel like
I feel
creating
like
content is cool
okay.
for keeping my current followers engaged, but what about getting new followers? How can I build my audience without ads? So going back to what we talked about earlier, create content on search platforms.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, you can create content that's discoverable on Instagram using the correct hashtags and those sorts of things, but you want to think about the psychology of the person that's on these platforms. What's the psychology, or like what's the general demeanor of the person on Instagram? It's this, right? Just scrolling mindlessly, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing with Facebook. But when you're on YouTube, you're probably looking for something, or you get retargeted by relevant videos based on what you were watching. And if you use tools like TubeBuddy on YouTube to get your keywords, like your tags and your keywords, and you have engaging thumbnails, like
Mm-hmm.
that's all about optimization and optimizing
Mm-hmm.
your platform and your page in a way.
All
But
right. Search engine
I would say
optimization.
look to create content on platforms that are searchable, or
Mm-hmm.
figure out what people do on social media platforms when they are looking for something.
Right. And the great thing about YouTube also is that there is an algorithm too. So you're not necessarily missing out on, the algorithmic benefits of Instagram, that are talked about so much, right? There's the YouTube recommended videos. Every time you type in youtube.com and you go to your own personalized homepage, you have like 9 videos there. Well, actually, it scrolls on forever and ever, right? But there's like, I think like 8 or 9 videos right at the top that are specifically geared and recommended. And as the creator, right, if your video gets there, that's just a ton of visibility that you normally would not be getting, on other platforms that tend to bury your content, right? Because you're not a celebrity, the Instagram world generally isn't interested in you unless if you already have a pretty sizable audience and you're trending, you're a sports athlete, or you're already famous.
Yeah.
But YouTube's different because it's very discussion based, and so you can sneak into those like almost little micro audiences that YouTube does a good job of creating. Yeah. So
Seth Godin has a lot of good thoughts on how you really should be trying to get the smallest viable audience that cares about what makes you uniquely you, or your process uniquely yours. And because if you're trying to be for everybody, you're not going to be for anybody. But if you're trying to help a very select few that you know how to help exactly, then that you can build something from there. But if you're constantly trying to like modify what you're doing based on trying to cater to everybody, you're going to spread yourself too thin. You're not going to have any specific process in place because you're always constantly changing. And this is very difficult to do. It's difficult to stay on track and be like, and believe in like the process and the business that you've created, of course. But I think that there is, especially when you're getting started or when you're trying to find your core audience, that you should be trying to figure out the smallest viable audience that can, sustain you. Right.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of opposite of what the trending advice is. It's like boost your post to like the entire North America, or,
right.
or just like hashtag spam your posts to get into these giant, like little content buckets. But like, here's the reality of hashtags. Cause I see that Mark put in a comment about them. Putting in hashtags that are like, musicpreneur or whatever, it's like these huge, like rock music, like pop 2021, like those audiences are so huge.
Yeah.
First of all, you might not even get visibility. So that ends the conversation right there. But like what is the quality of this person? Like, are they just going to see you and keep scrolling, you know? And it's, so yeah, to kind of summarize the answer, and you're talking to someone who just deleted Instagram off his phone, but you know, hashtags are a very low quality way to interact with someone.
Right.
And there's better ways to spend the time. There's a certain amount of effort involved when it comes to making yourself discoverable in the first place. And so I think it really matters to focus on the tasks that are going to last the longest and are also going to create the highest quality interaction. And I think Björkfin like nailed it on the head when it's like, you want to find people who are already kind of looking for you, right? And then you also want to find people who are going to engage with you and interact with you in a super meaningful way.